And welcome back to Who Would Win. This one comes to us from Raziel Ramos. I think I got that name right. And surprisingly, you're the only one who suggested this. You suggested who would win, Gamera versus Pennywise. I'm certain this comes slightly off the heels of the Godzilla versus Pennywise one. And give me 1 second. I'm checking something really quick here. As far as I can tell, Gamera doesn't have any fears. Like legitimate fears. I mean, concerns, yes, well-being of the planet, but that's not a fear. So, I've had Pennywise on here plenty enough times that I can do it in my sleep, pretty much. But Gamera, I have not. So, let's get over Pennywise as quick as we can. Pennywise is a eldritch, more or less an eldritch being from a macroverse that existing beyond our own universe. His natural enemy is the turtle Maturin. His real form is difficult to describe. The closest anyone has been able to describe it is something like a large mass of hair and teeth, because he's basically like the personification of greed and consumption. And that's kind of how was it Billy or someone of the Loser Club actually saw a kind of hint at his true form when staring at his deadlights in the book. But the closest they could actually interpret it was the giant spider form he took. Point being, though, Pennywise is Pennywise the dancing clown. The clown we see is an extension of himself, but it still feels pain and all that stuff. He more than anything, he induces fear, particularly in kids because they're easier to scare, and then eats them. His powers are pretty much whatever he wants them to be. He's got shape shifting. He does have some levels of reality warping and telekinesis, telepathy, which he can then pull the fear from your mind and then take the form of it, induce it. He's also very intelligent, psychotic. But therein lies a severe weakness, is that if you lose your fear of him or don't even have fear of him to begin with, that's not really going to do much. And the less if someone fears him, less a group of people even fear him, the weaker he's going to get until you could probably defeat him, arguably kill him. Well, it's very hard to actually kill Pennywise. It's unclear if he can truly die, because there's implications in later novels that he still survived his second encounter with the Losers Club. It's also, Pennywise is interesting because with other characters I normally do, like Leatherface or Bagul or the Woman in Black, or I'm trying to think of anyone else right off the top of my head. Something supernatural, essentially. That's I'm trying to think of another. Gotta be another example, like Annabelle. Well, Annabelle technically, is that they're usually unique in their own world. There's nothing else like them, and therefore they don't. It's hard to gauge how they would go fare against another supernatural entity. With Pennywise, he exists in a world with other supernatural creatures. Whether his entire macroverse has supernatural beings on some level that he can readily go up against. Maturin, for instance, is his mortal enemy, or was. He's dead as far as I know. Not because Pennywise killed him, because he choked on the universe. But Maturin must have had power comparable to Pennywise for Pennywise to actually consider him his enemy and actually view him as some level of a threat. So, as far as I know, Pennywise isn't the top dog in his universe. He's high up there. Like, if right here is the maximum you can go, Pennywise hovers somewhere in here. I know he's pretty high up on the bar, but I don't think I think the Scarlet King is higher than him in terms of dangerous and power and all that. But to be fair, my knowledge of Stephen King mythos lore is above average, but still limited, so I wouldn't be able to tell you for certain. Let me know in the comments below. Actually, that's a good little trivia there. But Gamera is, now depending on what version the Heisei or Showa era, his origin differs. Showa had him as just a ancient species of turtle, prehistoric tortoise who fed on flames, whereas the Heisei era had him as a bioweapon from Atlantis. Either way, he is very large, very powerful. In fact, size-wise, 55 meters high, 80 metric tons, 100 metric tons, depending on which version, depending on which era you're going with. But ultimately, he's very powerful. Nowhere near as large as Godzilla, but he's also quite intelligent, still powerful enough to tank most missiles and firearm power on the shell. Shell's very durable. He withstood, I believe, an atomic explosion at one point. Though the underside of his shell is much weaker, being able to be pierced by weaker individuals like Virus due to the fact that he had a pointed spear and was able to just pierce them. Gamera, though, is famous for being able to eat flames and basically spit plasma fireballs. In fact, he can eat flame, basically fire is what he's able to eat, though he can also feed on the actual energy of the world if he really needs it. He breathes plasma. He doesn't breathe fire because it burns underwater as well, which is what plasma does, not fire. Fire obviously wouldn't burn underwater. He's also capable of flight, which is very impressive. In fact, he's a turtle, firing basically plasma out his feet and even spinning like a buzzsaw and attacking individuals that way. When all else fails, he does have a level of regeneration, but unfortunately, it's unfortunately, it's not like Wolverine where he's just going to heal instantly. It'll take some time for him to heal up, but he will eventually heal up. He can also has a few final and finishing moves, including that where he opens up his shell and just does a giant fire blazing cannon, or charging up like plasma limbs if he loses them and just falcon uppercutting, punching them. So Gamera is quite powerful. Nowhere near invincible, but quite powerful. So let's say this fight again takes place in Derry, Maine during Pennywise's feeding season. Gamera's been fighting some monsters. They end up in Derry, Maine. Pennywise is about to kill a kid, but then the monsters come and he just using. At first, he's just kind of annoyed by it. Just, what is it? And then, the kids actually seeing Gamera beat up the monster, and he's getting a little hope, and he's even sensing Pennywise senses the fear. What? Aren't you afraid of me anymore, boy? Come on! And he transfers like, but he just stands up and is being brave. And they just kind of knocks the kid out. Like, I'll be back for you, snack. And then just sees the turtle and actually goes up and actually just appears in front of Gamera and says, "You're causing problems, turtle. I'm gonna make you go away." And then he actually pushes Gamera. Gamera fires a fireball right at him. Pennywise, all right, that hurt. But tell me, everyone's afraid of something, even dumb creatures like you. And the closest he can get to fear is Gamera's concern for the overall planet and kids. So he's just painting pictures of kids that he's basically killed, and Gamera's just not getting. And I think Pennywise misinterprets the concern in his life for kids as fear, because he's not getting afraid. He's getting rightfully pissed and just looking. And Gamera's just staring, just his giant eyes staring right at him, and Pennywise, this might not have been good. And then he actually transforms into one of the monsters he was fighting, and they duke it out. And Gamera's just like boom, just punching him, falcon punching him, energy punching him, boom, flies off and then tackles him. The problem with this fight is it goes pretty much beat for beat with different creatures, obviously, they transform into. With the Godzilla versus Pennywise fight, is that Gamera is intelligent, but he's still pretty much he's still a giant turtle. There's only so much a giant turtle can be afraid of, and given the fact that he's a superpowered flame-eating turtle, means that you give him even less things to be afraid of. Plus, it's his job to pretty much protect humanity, to protect the planet. So he's probably learned long ago to just get rid of his fears and just do his job. He ultimately just outlasts Pennywise, because the longer this fight goes on, the longer the Gamera's not afraid of him. And the more he's just giving people hope, the less Pennywise has to fear, and therefore his power is weakened until Gamera just finally, when Pennywise is maybe just shrunken down, Gamera just decides to do a full-out flaming plasma streak. It just incinerates Pennywise, gone, dead. See, it's impossible to say if Pennywise and Gamera fought in Pennywise's true form, what capabilities Pennywise would even have, because we don't have enough information on what Pennywise's true form is even capable of, or in his universe he doesn't really have much power per se, comparatively. So, but it's got to go to Gamera on this only because it's not the kind of opponent that Pennywise is designed to take on is the problem. It's the same issue with Godzilla is that Godzilla's not an opponent Pennywise is designed to take on. In normal circumstances, I think Pennywise would be like, just leave the giant fire-breathing turtle alone. I'm just going to go eat this kid right here. This is a good entertainment. Dinner and a show. That's what Pennywise would probably do, even though Gamera and Godzilla would probably alleviate some fears people would have and even give a little hope to some people, particularly Gamera, actually. Godzilla's been perceived a lot more as both, whereas Gamera's always strictly been a hero. So, yeah, I got to go Gamera on that. There's not many scenarios where I see Pennywise pulling out a win, really, unless he pulls out the Deadlights. The Deadlights obviously are capable of driving individuals insane or just killing them. But the question quickly becomes, does he even get a chance to use the Deadlights? That's the question. I really don't think so. Unless he's in the giant monster form and then tries to use the Deadlights. But I think Gamera wouldn't have any of it. And plus, we don't know how the Deadlights affect other individuals besides humans. As far as we know, we've only ever seen it used on humans, and probably whatever indigenous species might be available to Pennywise in his own dimension. And we know there are people in that dimension too, just kind of different. So it's difficult to say how they would affect something on a more primitive level that's a lot older, a lot wiser, has a different perspective in terms of life and reality. For if he was able to get the Deadlights out and Gamera actually was staring long enough at him, yes, I think they would probably kill him, but I think Gamera would probably roast him before he even gets a chance to do it. So I will give Pennywise a 5% chance on that margin, but it's only a 5% chance. Otherwise, 95% of the time we're going with Gamera for that fight. But what do you think? Do you think it's Gamera or you think it's Pennywise? Put in the comments below and let me know. But thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, subscribe. As always, if you want us to review something, put in the comments below. Let us know. We'll do a review of it at some point. So I'll be back with What If in a little bit. Thanks for watching.